Hi guys, long time no see. I took a bit of a break from YouTube, kind of accidentally. And the reason being, because I am pregnant. I kind of had to take a little bit of a break from YouTube because I was dealing with a lot of morning sickness, but we're on the up and up now. I'm excited to be back on YouTube and sharing with you guys. I think I shared this in one of my later videos, but we also have a dog now who walks around, and so if you can hear him kind of just his claws clicking on the floor, that's just him. I kind of just wanted to post like a knitting podcast really quick. I mean, I kind of took a break from knitting for a while. When I was in like peak pregnancy nausea, I could not even I was just like a couch potato. I essentially just like vegged on the couch and in bed like all day because I really couldn't muster it up to do anything else. So I kind of took a break from knitting and just crafting in general for a while I was in the thick of it. In the last week or two, I have done a good chunk of knitting, and I mean, before I really was in the thick of pregnancy nausea, I worked on some other knitting projects, so I just kind of want to catch you up on stuff. I don't want to make pregnancy the theme of this video, though I am like thinking about it a lot and stuff, and so I am going to talk a little bit about it because it does go hand in hand with some of my knitting plans. I don't want to make it like super the focus, at least not for this video. So let's just start with my most recent finished object, which is what I'm wearing. In my past videos, I had started working on the Dagmar jacket from PetiteKnit. I would not say that I am the fastest knitter. Depending on the project, I can like whip it out really quick, and other times I kind of struggle too, and so this did take me longer than I thought it would, but I'm not like the fastest knitter anyways. Let me first just show you what it looks like. Here is it all finished. I love it so much. It blocked out so well. Yeah, I love the fit. I love the cables, obviously, and like the yarn choice was really good. I love how it turned out. So this is like the kind of final look and fit of it. It was really enjoyable to knit. Last year, I would have considered myself to be a intermediate knitter, perhaps, like between beginner and intermediate. I hadn't really done any knitting patterns yet, other than like sock patterns, and the sweaters that I did make, I just like made up, like made my own pattern for it. This sweater was the very first sweater pattern that I followed. I was maybe a little ambitious when picking this pattern because it is an advanced knitting pattern. I think that on PetiteKnit's site, she kind of rates the difficulty level between like 1 and 5 stars. So I'm assuming that like 1 star would be like very beginner and 5 stars would be pretty advanced. And this was a 5-star knit, if I am remembering correct. It was pretty intense, but I felt like I was prepared for it. At the start, I did have to like look up how to do different stitches and stuff because I hadn't ever used them before. It wasn't that hard to grasp, so I really just threw myself into that knitting pattern, but I found it to be very enjoyable. The cables themselves were very entertaining, and you know, with like this kind of color and material, that sense of the project is not that exciting. So to then create cables was really, yeah, entertaining, and it made it a really fun project. When I first started, I really had to like focus in because I didn't really know the ins and outs of the chart, like the cable chart. Once I had gotten through most of a sleeve, then I had the chart like memorized at that point, which I obviously had to knit the whole body and like half a sleeve to do, and I actually did that half of a sleeve incorrectly, and so yeah, I kind of had to get rid of it and start over. It was worth it to do. The biggest reason why it took so long to complete this project was, one, because I was pregnant and, you know, just didn't want to knit for a couple of months, and two, because I actually ran out of yarn after finishing the body. And so you may or may not be able to tell that the sleeves are different color, is slightly different in color from the body. So like this is where the transition is. I don't think that it's that easy to tell. Also, like the finishing touches, like the button band and collar, are slightly different than the body. It's just like a slightly warmer, maybe like greener tone, where the body yarn is more like cool toned. What I ended up doing to kind of adjust so that it wasn't so stark of a difference, I talked about this in one of my last videos, but I'm just gonna rehash it here since this is kind of like the full review of the sweater. What I did to kind of make the difference in yarns less noticeable, I got through the body and only had 2 yarn cakes left, and I had started with 7 and still had all, you know, the full sleeves to knit and all like the finishing details. So I was like, okay, clearly I'm not going to be able to finish this, like this is not enough yarn. So then I went on a hunt to find new yarn or like additional yarn, and I found such a good match on eBay. It was literally identical to the yarn that I had. So the main yarn from this project actually came from a sweater that I thrifted and then unraveled. I just had assumed that, you know, if it was enough yarn to make a sweater before, that it'd be enough yarn to make a sweater again. But I suppose that the sweater I have ended up knitting is slightly larger than the original sweater that I thrifted. Anyways, I ended up finding a very close match. It's a tweed yarn. I'm not like super well versed in yarns yet. I am still like at the beginning of my knitting journey, and so I'm not super well versed in yarns yet, but it's a tweed, so it has like variation in it. I don't know if you can see it. It's got like bits of purple and pink and yellow, and so the yarn that I had found on eBay had the same sort of variation. It had a few additional colors too. There's some blue and green also. So what I ended up doing, I don't know if this is how it is with all tweed yarns, but at least this kind, it's like 2 yarns that are then like plied together. And so when I unraveled the original sweater, it was 2 yarns held together, kind of. They weren't spun together. But the new yarn that I got on eBay was 2 yarns spun together and like plied together. So sorry if that doesn't make any sense. and is like absolutely confusing. But essentially I had to split the new yarn so that I could incorporate it with the 2 cakes of yarn that I had left, so that like the new sleeves with the new yarn is actually half of the new yarn and half of the old yarn, so that it's not so stark a difference. And I actually didn't use any of like just the new yarn in any parts. All of it aside from the body is half of the old yarn, half of the new yarn held together. Hopefully that makes sense. But that process also took a long time, just like splitting them and then putting them together and winding everything up. That took a while. I had finished doing that all before Christmas. Got a good bit of knitting done at Christmas, but it was all in vain because it was on the one sleeve that I had been doing incorrectly and had to unwind anyways. And then I got home and then things got busy with the work and stuff, and then I ended up finding out that I was pregnant and then getting sick, and it just took a while to finish the project. And so now it is March and I just finished knitting and blocking this sweater about a week ago, I think, which is pretty unfortunate because it is 100% wool, and it is more of kind of like a jacket than a sweater, I would say, though it is a sweater. It's like a heavy sweater, and we're going into March, and like this week is the week that it is finally getting warm, and so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll use it inside a little bit. Very soon this sweater will go into storage until later this year when it gets a little bit chillier, which is sad, but it just happens. I started this knit back in, it was either September or October, I don't know, but it was obviously a while ago, and I just finished it in March. So yeah, it took a while, and but it wasn't because it was a boring knit or overly complicated. It was really just because I ran out of yarn and then I got sick. It was really an enjoyable knit. I really had so much fun knitting it. It really made me fall in love with cables. These honeycomb cables are kind of the worst. Those were the worst ones to knit, especially like in like the large ones where you have to do like thing after thing after thing after thing for a while. It was obviously worth it. I just like absolutely love the combination of cables, and I think it is just so pretty. I do already want to make another one. Yeah, I don't know when I will get to it, but it was just such a fun knit, and I feel like this is just perfect like classic cable knit vibes. I do think that I will be making another one at some point, but it'll probably like be a while. Like I have quite a lot of projects planned, so it'll probably be a while, but I think it would be nice in a lighter color. I'm mainly thinking like a cream probably. It was really a lovely knit. It was very fun and entertaining. So yeah, and then I found out that I was pregnant, and so something that I really wanted to do was kind of create some knit projects that my husband and I could wear for our pregnancy announcement. And I had like a very clear vision in my mind, and I was super excited about it. And I've never knit something for my husband before either. I mean, not anything substantial. I've knit him like a beanie before, and that's it. He's not like the most stylish guy. I don't know how knit-worthy he really is yet. Luckily, like when it comes to washing knits, I obviously will be doing that, but I just don't know like how much he would wear something I knit for him. We do go to church. The one times that he does wear sweaters is to church. So I was gonna knit him kind of like a nice churchy sort of sweater. So I found this pin. I just love the cables. I feel like it's a very masculine kind of cable look. Like they're obviously cables, but it's still simple and not too crazy. The sweater's also blue, which is my husband's favorite color, and he wears blue all the time. That was kind of the intention, was to make a sweater like that. It was also his birthday in February, and so the goal was to make it for his birthday. I also recently got a knitting machine. I got one around Thanksgiving last year and have been tweaking with it. I actually haven't really finished any like major projects on it yet. My goal was to knit the majority of this cable knit sweater on the knitting machine so that it was faster and so that I could get it to him for his birthday, because I kind of decided it all pretty late. And I also am not the fastest knitter either. You know, this sweater obviously took me 6 months. So I was kind of just trying to make it fast, plus I was excited to kind of do something big on the knitting machine. This is what I have ended up doing so far. So I really wanted a blue, and on the eBay listing, this yarn looked a lot more blue. It was like a gray blue still, but it looked more blue. Obviously this sweater is gray and his sweater is almost the exact same color. It is like slightly more blue and mine is warmer. But yeah, so this is what I've come up with so far. So this is like the plan that I came up with for his sweater thus far. It was really just for like the front and back for the body. And then I got to knitting the front, and it actually turned out so good. It does need to be blocked, like it's a little skinny right now. It would be more so like this. Yeah, it turned out really good. It was pretty tedious, just like, you know, doing a few rows and then stopping to do all the cables and then doing a few more and stopping to do all the cables and stuff. It was pretty tedious, and it took me like 2 full days, like sitting at my desk at the knitting machine 4 hours both of those days. I was starting to feel the pregnancy nausea, but it wasn't too bad yet. But after I had finished this front part, I like really needed a break, and then I got really sick, and so it's just been on hold ever since. This is how the back looks. Pretty clean, I would say. And yeah, I just love how the cables have turned out. Again, the color is a little disappointing. I would have liked it to be more blue, but that's okay. I did get the yarn on eBay because, I mean, for the most part, I like to knit with secondhand yarn. I did get it from eBay, and I really like the yarn. I just wish it was a little more blue. But that's okay. He wears a lot of blue and gray, and so this is like will fit into his wardrobe pretty perfectly. I was absolutely not ready for his birthday. And at this point, it is getting pretty warm out, and so by the time I finish it, he will not be ready or like wanting to wear it anyways, because it's gonna be way too hot. That has been put on hold for a little while. I will pick it up and, you know, work on it again, especially once I start to feel a lot better. I'm still kind of nauseous, and so I'm not like really 100% there yet, but it will eventually get picked up again. But by, you know, by the time it is done, he won't wear it anyways until fall or winter, and so I'm not like super anxious to get it done now because I know he's not really gonna wear it for a while anyways. Okay, and then on to my latest project. Going along with the thought of like, I really wanted to have knit projects that we could wear together for our pregnancy announcement. I have loved the idea of a knit dress, specifically a striped, colorful knit dress. And I just have loved this idea for so long. I think it would be so adorable with like a little bump. I just think it's just like such a cute, fun project. But obviously a very long project. But then I got the knitting machine and suddenly, you know, it became something that was going to be more attainable. And so I got really excited and I really wanted to create this project. And then I got sick. We're, you know, into the second trimester now, and it was just like time to tell people. And so, yeah, the idea did not happen, but I did end up like buying a bunch of yarn and doing a bunch of research and stuff like that. The idea was for it to be mohair. What I ended up getting was a whole bunch of this drops alpaca silk for like pretty cheap. It was like $2.30 per cake, which is like really cheap. And I would say like it's a pretty good yarn too. I mean, like, it's, I don't know if you can consider this a mohair. It doesn't say mohair on it, so I don't know. But it's like identical to mohair, but it's 77% alpaca and 23% silk. And I feel like those are pretty good materials. So yeah, I ended up getting like, I got 20 cakes or skeins or whatever you want to call of the yarn. For colors and striping, I was very much inspired by this little cardigan. I just love the color combination and yeah, the striping of it and how like kind of random it was. So I wanted to make one of those like full body knit dresses on the knitting machine was the plan. And then I got sick and it got put off. And the longer I've had time to think on it, I have decided that that's probably not the best use of the yarn, because on a typical basis I don't really wear dresses like that are like form-fitting. I do wear a lot of dresses and skirts because I go to church every Sunday, and even outside of that I do just like wearing skirts and dresses. It's not necessarily that aspect that would not make sense. It's more so like a form-fitted dress. It's just not really my cup of tea typically. Of course it's really cute with a pregnancy bump. It's probably not going to be as cute with just like a mom belly after. I decided that that was probably not the best use of the yarn or my time, and that I probably wouldn't pull it out to wear as much. And so I've decided to go kind of a different route. Instead, this is kind of what I'm thinking is like a matching set, something that's not quite as form-fitted. Okay, it's actually the next day. I had to take a break from filming yesterday, but yeah, we're back. So basically I have decided to create a striped set instead of a dress, just because I think it's gonna be something a little more wearable for me. You can wear them together, you can wear them separately. Sorry, I keep messing with my hair. It just made more sense for my lifestyle and my, you know, what I typically wear to do a set instead. So yeah, I'm really excited about the idea. I still like the look of a set. I don't think it's as pregnancy cute because it doesn't really like show off the bump per se, but we're already like far into March now, and like it's already starting to get into the 60s this week, at least where we're at. And so, you know, it's not gonna be long before warmness is upon us, and I won't be able to like wear sweaters and stuff anyways. And so there's a good chance that I won't get any photos from this little knit outfit that I'm creating during pregnancy, because I don't know, like the majority of my pregnancy will be through the summer. I'm due early fall, and so it's like I'm probably not really going to get to wear the knit pieces before giving birth for like a photo shoot or anything, but it's okay. I'll have them for next fall and winter in like postpartum and stuff. And that's why I decided to go with the set, because in postpartum I think that the set will be more flattering and something that I'll, you know, gravitate to more so than, you know, a fitted dress. Even though it is like the cutest idea ever, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, anyways, I have gotten started. There's not really any like knit skirt patterns. I'm just going to like freehand the knit skirt when I get to it. I'm starting with the top first. The top I decided to go with was the Cumulus Blouse by PetiteKnit, because it reminded me very much of like this knit set and like just the silhouette of everything, and I feel like it's a really good just kind of like slip over piece. I think it'll be a really good layering piece for like this time of year specifically, and also like early fall. I'm really excited about it. I have gotten started. So here's my striping so far. I'm like, this is like the most fun project. So I'm using the Drops alpaca silk yarn. It is like so fun. I really love knitting with it. So the Cumulus Blouse pattern uses like a silk mohair, which I don't know if this is considered a silk mohair. If you're watching this and you know, like please let me know, because it's like identical to one, and it seems that like silk mohairs also have silk and alpaca. I don't know. Anyways, but I didn't use any of like the recommended yarns that she had, because again, I didn't really know that I was gonna end up making her pattern. I bought the yarn like far before I really decided like to make a set. Yeah, like when I bought the yarn, I very much was planning on making the dress. I'm not mad about this decision at all. When I picked up the project, the Cumulus Blouse project, I was thinking that I probably wouldn't have enough yarn to create the set, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to use it for the blouse, because her pattern has you hold the yarn together. But then I was like doing swatches and stuff, and together it was like too fluffy and like kind of stiff, so I swatched it holding it just one yarn, and I really like it. You know, it is going to be like a little see-through. You can maybe see my shirt through it. I can't really tell through the viewfinder. My plan was to always wear something under it anyways, so it doesn't really bug me that it's gonna be like a little sheer. I really like it. It's like so ooey, gushy, like cozy vibes. If I knit it with just the one yarn, my yarn's gonna go much farther. I ordered a total of 20 skeins, and I think that I should be able to knit the whole Cumulus blouse with like 6 skeins. I won't really know until like both are done. Well, I still won't really know because I have 16 colors and I probably won't finish like any of the skeins, just knitting the blouse. Anyways, I'm really excited about it. I think it's turning out really cute. I was obviously following that one photo inspiration for like colors and also the kind of striping pattern and the randomness of it, and I don't think the colors are like quite like spot on, but I think they're like pretty close and I really like how it's turning out so far. But I've just been using like a Google Sheets to create kind of like a pattern stripe for myself because I'm just like I'm a little too type A to just like go with the flow and not plan out the progression of colors beforehand and like the size of the stripes. So I kind of just like messed with it for a while on my computer. I'm really excited about it. It's turning out really good. I just cast on like a few days ago. What day? I think I cast on Saturday and today is Tuesday, so I've only done like this much so far today, so that's like 3 days of progress so far, and I have the rest of today to work on it some. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. Well, it's just been like so much fun to knit so far. I love knitting with colors. I just think it makes it really fun and exciting. This is the last project that I was knitting on, was the Dagmar jacket, and so it's like this was fun because of the cable knits, but it was also a very like intense project. It was also on like slightly smaller needles, and then this is just like so fun because of all the colors, and it's like knitting up really fast, I feel, so far. Oh, I forgot, I also wanted to talk about a knitting purchase that I recently made. So this is the knitting set that I knit from. When I was starting to get back into knitting a lot, I had purchased my own like really cheap bamboo set of like circular needles, not interchangeable. They were like extremely cheap from Amazon. Yeah, that's what I was using, and then I went home for Christmas and my mom and dad gifted me this set, and it has like changed the knitting game for me. I really don't think that like I would have kept knitting as much with those bamboo knitting needles, but I just like was not in the financial position yet to like invest in like nice knitting needles. And I have seen other people use these. It's the Knit Pro brand. I actually don't know if they still have this little knit set anymore. I haven't seen it, but if I can find it, I'll try and link it for you. But yeah, I would say it's like really good. It's gotten me really far. I'm not really a chunky knitter, so I actually haven't used these 3 or 4 sets yet, but I have used all of these lower 5 so far. I'm obviously like using these ones right now, and I really like it. It goes from 3.5 to 8 millimeters. It's really nice, and then like it's got, you know, other stuff. I've put some other stuff in here too that doesn't come in this set, but I love knitting with these needles. I think they're like really comfortable. It's what I'm used to now. But something that I have felt the need for is some shorties, or like short needles, short circular needles specifically for like doing sleeves. These I can definitely make these work for knitting sleeves, and it's just fine. I've gotten to a good point where I don't have like big gaps from like moving stuff around. If you've knit sleeves with circular needles like this, you know how it goes. If you're not careful, you can get gaps, but I've figured out a good system for it. Yeah, it's still a hassle, and it does make knitting sleeves a little longer. You can knit socks on circular needles too, and not just D-pans, though I do like D-pans for socks. I just have really been wanting some shorties, and so I've had my eye on some, but they were like $65 and bamboo, which obviously is different than what I have been using, and so I wasn't like super ready to get those ones because I don't know, I kind of want to just like stick with the same, like, I don't know what they are, aluminum or steel or something, I don't know. I just wanted to stick with the same material so that, you know, the feeling is always the same. So I got this little set of shorties. It is from the same company, and even like the colors are exactly the same. So let me show you. So it lines up more like this, but like that's the same size and color. And yeah, but they're obviously short. They're like 2 inches. I found this set on Amazon. It was a little more. It was like $72, but like so worth it to me because it obviously matches the set that I have. And so yeah, I'm like so pumped to have like both of these now. I just feel like this is totally going to change the game for me when it comes to like knitting sweaters and also trying to knit other stuff. I'm just like so pumped about it. So it is a little different because these 2 sizes do not have the little shorties, but again, I almost never use these. Like I really don't ever use these sizes. I might get up to using these ones, but I honestly don't know if I'll ever use these because I like using smaller yarns and stuff. I'm not really a chunky knitter. It doesn't go past here, but there is a smaller one, a 3mm, which I have been needing so badly for like cuffs and stuff. Because yeah, it's just like I've needed it for a few things. I have 3mm DPNs, and so I've been using those instead, but it's just like not convenient at all sometimes. And so yeah, I'm just like so freaking pumped to use this set. It was $72, so still like an investment, but I think it is going to be like completely worth it. I'm so excited. So yeah, I will have this one linked. I found it on Amazon, and yeah, I need to go and leave like a great review because I'm really excited. And then it has a little pocket on the back just with like, you know, circular needle stuff. I'll have it linked if you're interested, but I'm just like absolutely pumped to have these, and I cannot wait to use these for the sleeves. My plans knitting wise is to mainly work on this because I mean I'm knitting it up pretty quickly. I feel like I do feel loads better most days, and so I am getting a lot more knitting done, but I think I'll just get more and more done as the days progress and I feel better and better. I'm hoping to like get this done like just like ASAP, like as soon as possible, so that I can get a little bit of wear out of it before it's like hot out. Like even if I could just wear it inside. Things happen though, and you know, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. So I was planning on knitting the skirt on the knitting machine, but lately so I'm not like perfect at the knitting machine yet. Not that I'm bad at it at all either. I've been finding a little more satisfaction in hand knitting for some reason. Also, with knitting it on the knitting machine, it only has like so many stitches. I think it has 122 stitches, the one I have, which is not like, if that was the front panel and then there was also a back panel, that'd be a total of 244 stitches, and I don't think that that is enough stitches, not even like close, to be honest, to create like a full skirt. And so I'd have to do it in panels, and I just don't think that that would seem well at all. I am now considering to knit the skirt by hand also, especially with like how just like ooey gooey and fun it is to knit this so far. But that would be like a big tedious project. I'm sure it's something that would take me a very long time to complete, and so I think it's going to be like end up being like a side knit project for the summer that I'll just like, you know, work on while watching shows or something, just like for the monotonous knitting at home. It's also going to end up being large too, and so it's not really something that I'll be able to like bring on trips and stuff like that. But I think I am going to do it by hand because I think it'll just end up looking a lot more seamless, but it's going to take a while. I don't know when I'll cast on the skirt, probably in a long time. I do want to finish the sweater for my husband so that he doesn't get sad that it's been put on hold. Again, he's not going to be able to wear it for months and months anyways, but I think he would feel good having it. I'll probably work on that after I'm finished with this. And then baby knits. I really want to do a lot of baby knits this summer probably. I've heard that baby knits are like so fun and quick, and that just like sounds like so refreshing and perfect. I think it'll be really nice to have like a really long project, aka the skirt, and then like lots of little like fast projects too that I can just like whip out really quickly and still feel like I'm accomplishing something. Because those long knitting projects, I'm not usually the type of person to have more than one knitting project at a time, but sometimes those long projects will put me on like a knitting hold because it's like really difficult to go a long time without like having like a success or like a finished project. And so I think it'll be nice to have two ongoing projects like baby knits and the skirt this summer. So yeah, that's kind of what my knitting plans are right now. If you watched like my last knitting podcast, I was planning on making like multiple cardigans on the knitting machine, and I still want to do those, but you know, we're heading into spring and summer, and so it's gonna be a while before I could even use those anyways, so those have been put on hold temporarily. That's kind of everything. I don't know, I'm sure this video is so long. Hopefully I could chop it down a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you're working on. Also, let me know what you would like to see from me on YouTube. I'm hoping to be coming back and being here more frequently. So yeah, if you have any ideas or something you specifically want to see, let me know, and I will see you guys next time.